Hey beautiful creatives, I just came upstairs to film the introduction for a sketchbook tour video, and this little guy just came up. He's shivering. It's in the middle of summer, it's very hot, but it's raining outside. Oh, I don't know if you can see him shivering. It's raining outside, so he must have gone out potty in the rain and gotten soaked and came back in and the air conditioning was on, so he's shivering. So I got to hold him to warm him up. But I have 3 sketchbooks, a little tiny Colo, I forget what these are called, these Twone, Twone, a Twone that I have filled. Don't you love it when they get all puffy like that? And then a transformed book. This is an old book that I transformed into an art journal. So this one actually was in use over a very long period of time. It was 2015 this one started. So there's a wide spread of time in there. This one was 5/23 to 6/23. So that one filled up pretty fast. And this one is 6/4/23 to 7/12/23. So these 2 newer ones got used up pretty fast, and this one will be interesting because there's a long span of artwork in there. So I hope you enjoy the video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up or a subscribe, because I have missed a couple of weeks lately. I'm being horribly punished by the YouTube algorithm, so it would be really helpful if you gave a thumbs up. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Okay, talk to you soon. Okay, so I wasn't going to do a talk through on this, but I think maybe I will talk a little bit about this. This was an old book on pyramids that I got at a tag sale and decided to transform it into a sketchbook. So I left the first page with just a bit of gesso on it so that I could see, what the etchings in the book looked like. And then I also left the back page as the original book was. And then what I did was I glued 2 pages together to make them stronger for the different layers of mixed media and collage that I was doing. So this was a lot of collage from magazines, and looks like some old letters. And I love that you can see the original book text through in different parts. This was a stencil that I used, and this was a piece of collage. This looks like it was a stencil. All kinds of mixed media in here. This looks like it was a stencil maybe. Same with this. The boy and the girl were cutouts that I painted over. I used paint and some pen, it looks like. Fine line marker probably. And then again, there's collaged papers in the background that you can see through. Oh, this is interesting. One of the pieces that shows through is the 2500th anniversary of Lord Buddha's birth. That's interesting. And then a little Catholic icon. And this is another collage piece. I love the collage view out the window. I wonder if you can see that. And this was some of the original etchings in the original book. This was a collage piece, probably from a National Geographic. All kinds of mixed media in these. It's too bad I didn't date these. I was really into doing collage mixed media pieces back then. I don't think there's as much collage on here. It looks like it's mostly stamps. I know I have this old text stamp. This was a stamp. The pages get really thick with all the collage on them. This was a piece of collaged map. And then there's probably all kinds of collaged pieces buried under the paint. This was, I think this was a palette cleanup page that I was going to go back to, and then I never did. If too many years have gone by when I remember that I've left a page blank, I tend not to go back to it because my style changes so much over the years. Like this was a palette cleanup page that I don't want to, you know, I don't want to mess with that. I want to sort of let things flow organically. But if it's the timeline is short, then I will go back and fill in pages. This was just trying to get looser. Like there's a really tight poppy and then looser. I actually have a YouTube video on this, I believe. I think I have a YouTube, I think maybe it's the same YouTube video or something, but I know I have a YouTube video somewhere on the poppies. This is mixed media. Looks like it's got neocolor, wax pastel, all kinds of stuff, acrylic paint. These pages have been waxed with Dorland's cold wax medium so that they don't stick together. And sometimes it works really well and sometimes they still will stick a little bit. I tend to put a couple of coats of the wax medium. This was an expressive, intuitive painting. Something really painful had happened, and in the apple I carved, I did some sgraffito, and it says, "You are rotten to the core." And then I was just struggling so much with hurt and anger. The next page is sort of this little angel, and it says, "Begin again." Just start over, you know, leave this behind and begin again. This was an expressive painting. It was sort of a time travel painting where, and I talk about this in another YouTube video, where my counselor had said you can go back in time and comfort your inner child, you know, that your child's self. And I had a very traumatic childhood and struggle with a lot of the effects of a traumatic upbringing. So she had me do this painting where my adult self went back to comfort my child self. And that was my little cat, Wander, when I was a child. And I had her for, 18 years of my life. Most of my, all of my childhood, really. And I adored that cat so much. When I cried as a little girl, she used to lick the tears off my face. And I had this brook that ran outside. It actually wrapped around our house, but I would hear the brook. I slept in the attic and I would hear the brook at night. It was such a peaceful sound. And this is just an expressive piece with marker, it looks like. Maybe marker and maybe some colored pencil. And you can sort of see the original drawing, or of the original etchings from the book coming through. This was an intuitive painting I did for my patrons. This was 4/2023, so that was, I believe it was my patrons and not YouTube. So after a while, they get blurred, but I'm pretty sure this was a process video that I did for my patrons. This one was one that I did for my patrons. I should put notes on the pages so I remember. But yeah, I painted this one on Patreon. This was just a still life of my desk that we have down in the living room. And then the page from the next page leaked. I mean, the paint seeped over and got on there. It's not dated, but this was not too long ago. This was after I took I think her name's Pam Thorburn class on overlapping vessels, and I really enjoy doing that. I actually have been doing more of that in my still life work now. That's a fun thing to do. And I have not waxed these pages. That's why I have paper in between them. And actually, the ones that have wax pastel or oil pastel, you can't really use the Dorland's wax on those, so I use a spray fixative. This one is a painting that I did for my patrons, I believe, after Nico died. Yeah, it was an intuitive painting that I did of my boy. I miss him so much. And that's the end of that one. That's a short one. Yeah. I may not be able to talk through this one all the way because there's so many, but we'll see. I might have to speed parts of it up if the video gets too long. This is the Twone, maybe it's Twone, Twone, sketchbook, craft hardcover, 5 by 5 by 8.25 inches, 100 GSM paper, very thin paper. It does not like wet media at all. It really starts to come apart when you use too much. You can get away a little bit with the ink brushes that I made, but other than that, it just doesn't like wet media. It starts to really, really disintegrate if you put too much wet media on it. So these are very inexpensive on Amazon, but they're really for dry media only. Okay, and then finally we have this little oh, I never painted that. I usually paint those in. I'll have to paint something in that. But this is the little Colo sketchbook. I don't even know where I got this. I got this a million years ago. As a matter of fact, the original start date on this, on one of these paintings, was something like 2006. So this first part was started in like 2006. And then I put it away because I didn't like this paper. I really disliked this paper. Super thin, didn't take media well. And then what I finally did was, because I hate throwing stuff out, was I started doing collage on it. And that worked well. And then at some point I went back to it, yeah, in 2023. So in April, I came back to this after many years of being away from it. I mean, decades, because I was determined to finish it. So those were the dates that I used. Oh, that says 4. Let's see, did I only do one? Bet I only did that 4/23 and then didn't come back to it again until a month later. So I started gluing 2 pages together to make them stronger. And that worked pretty well, especially for gouache. So that's what I think I did a lot of in here. I wanted to blow through it quickly, and I managed to do that in a month. After this thing sat on my shelf for years, I managed to blow through it in a month with just mostly really expressive landscapes and still life and things with gouache. Really enjoyable working with the gouache in this small format. Just trying to get more and more expressive with my work. Loosen up more. This was an intuitive painting. I can't remember if I did this on Patreon or not. Some abstracts. This was testing out pens. Oh, this was the leaky markers video. That was in that leaky marker video. Painting some zinnias. That was 5/30/23. And these are, oops, okay. Some more zinnias. This was the ink pens. So the really vibrant colors were the Pentel ink pens. And then it looks like I used some Posca, some really fine-tipped Poscas on it. Oh, and some colored pencils, too. This is actually in a video. And I'm so sorry, I'm so brain-fogged. I don't remember. I'm going to have to start making notes in my sketchbook whether these videos are on Patreon or YouTube, because I just don't remember. But these ink paintings are in a video somewhere. This was one of Emma's drawing club pictures. I love how loose this came out. That's kind of a fun one. This was from Emma's. A lot of what you saw in this Twun sketchbook was from Brighton Drawing Club and Emma's thing, Patreon. This was from Emma's. I think that was Emma's. I meant to paint that, and I just never got to it. And sadly, I never go back to sketchbooks when I have something, because that would be fun to paint. But the truth is, I probably won't do it. I probably won't go back. Another one of those vessel paintings where you kind of see the lines through the other vessels. I really like that. This is maybe, oh yeah, this is the Paul Rubens Haya pastels. And this is, looks like acrylic gouache probably. Oh no, this was the Sennelier abstract paint. Oh, see, I did start to take notes. That's good, because I never remember what I do things with. This was the Sennelier abstract paint. This was just testing out some ink brushes and then doing a line drawing on top of it. Oh, and then testing. It's so funny because I've heard other people say this before. When I get to the last few pages of a sketchbook, I am like so done with it. You can always tell. Well, I always do my swatching at the back. So the last, page or two or however many. But like I remember doing this and I was just like so done with this sketchbook at that point. You only have a few pages left and I just wanted to move on. So I think all of these towards the end, I was just like wanting to really move through this sketchbook really fast. Okay, so that is the 3 sketchbooks. And sorry I didn't do a talk through on this one. I just think it would have been too long. There's a lot of pages in that. These 2 are pretty skinny sketchbooks, so it was pretty easy to do a talk through on those and not get too long. That is the sketchbook tour. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and it's a lot of different types of work over, well, at least if you start with this one and this one, the original paintings, and it's over a long span of time, and then you can see how fast I started filling up sketchbooks, especially after starting Emma Carlisle's Patreon. I fill sketchbooks so fast now, and Draw Brighton doing their work. So, and I love that. I love to just really have that daily practice of, having that. So it's a meditation to me, actually, to just do something in my sketchbooks every day. I've really come to rely on it as a antidepressant for myself. It's just to show up and create some art. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour. Sorry I didn't talk my way through this one. I just think the video would have gotten too long and my back is aching, so I think it would have been too much. But these 2 were thin enough that I think it'll work out fine time-wise that I talked my way through those. I will try to do a talk through on this one for my patrons at some point in the near future. I hope I remember that I promised that, but I think I will. Yeah. So I still haven't decided if I'm going to switch to only doing a YouTube video every other week. I'm kind of just playing it by ear with my health. I am supposed to see a doctor who treats mast cell patients. But I couldn't get in until October. That's the soonest that I could get in. I've actually already been waiting a few months. I made the appointment a few months ago. So that's going to be a while, and we're not even sure if she specializes in mastocytosis yet because it's such a rare disease. I may actually have to travel like 3 hours away to a hospital in Boston that treats that. So after that, my hope is once I get into better treatment that I will get better and I'll be able to get back to gangbusters on my YouTube and Patreon. I'm just kind of in a holding pattern right now. I don't have anyone who knows how to treat this well, and I'm on some of the medications, but not all of the medications. I'm kind of rambling now. I guess what I'm trying to say is, for those of you that are hanging in there with me, I really appreciate it. I just, I'm dying to get back to my really energetic and fun videos that I used to do, and I do believe that my energy will come back when I start getting better treatment. And there are newer treatments, there are newer things going on that can get people, I mean, there's no cure, but that can get people feeling better. So that's what I'm hoping. And, to my patrons, thank you so much for supporting both Dawn and I through my Patreon. It's been a wild ride, and I'm so grateful to all of you. But coming up in the next video, I'm going to be doing some expressive work. Whether it's intuitive work or more representational, it's going to be very expressive. So I have that to look forward to. Yeah, I have plans for the next couple of videos. So we'll see. We'll see. I always feel excited to get them videoed and done. I just have to, I don't know how I'm going to feel. So if my energy is good, there'll be a video every week. If not, I may skip a week here and there and just rest. And thank you for your understanding. So please do remember to like and subscribe, because like I said earlier in the video, their algorithm is punishing me for missing a couple of weeks over the last month. I really appreciate your support. God bless. I hope you are well. I hope this summer heat and fires and rain and all the crazy things that are going on our planet aren't affecting you. And if they are, you are in my prayers. We're praying for all the people who have been flooded in Vermont and Kentucky and Pennsylvania, and the fires in Canada and Greece. There's so much going on in the world today, and you're all in my heart, and I'm praying for good creative days ahead for all of us. God bless, guys. I'll talk to you in the next video.